So AYAKEME has narrowed it completely down to fuel and the scarcity of petroleum products. But when a lot of people talk about a government in crisis, it is not just about fuel for your vehicle or your generator at home. States and workers in the different states are owed salary in excess of over 300 billion. The federal civil servants are owed salary billions.
That's right.
Yes. So there are other issues involved that APC is also pointing out. I mean, power generation is at an all-time low, 1,300 megawatts. So for you, I don't know whether you share the same thoughts with Dr. AYAKEME.
No, not totally, not totally. First of all, what I have to say that if you ask me the question if Nigeria is in crisis, I would rather say to you that Nigeria has been in crisis for decades.
Oh, okay.
Right? So, because when you say a country in crisis, when you look at the word, the meaning of crisis, it looks at issue about social, political, economic, and security matters of a country. Now, we live in a globalized nation or world. Now, when you talk about security, we are in crisis with security. That is quite correct, because when you look at the safety that a tailor or a barber that owns a shop can be able to fuel his or her generator to do work, that safety of guaranteed service delivery from the government or from her institutions is not there. When you look at the issue of socio-cultural problems, we've got issues in the country that a lot of people don't feel safe and secured with where they live in Nigeria. People are worried about people hating them or planning violence against them. That is important. Then when you look at our economics of the country, obviously it's been challenged. When you look at the calculation made by Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala about our national debt, $60 billion. She was quite smart to narrow it down to very explainable matters when she said that 15% were coming from foreign stock loans, whereas the other 85% came from domestic stock loans. And in that 85%, she even went further to say 20% came from the state. So the other 65% remaining came from what happened before 2007. That's where 18 billion came from. Then from 2008 to 2011, they incurred under 17.5 billion. Then between 2012 to 2015, they incurred under 17 billion. And she was very clear to specify that the last stage of the 17 billion between 2012 and 2015 came because of the change that President Yar'Adua made in 2010 that increased the payment of salaries by 52%. So she was very professional as an expert to break it down. But I think a lot of politicians who are not experts in finance or economic matters kind of jump the bandwagon there. But very clearly to state that when you look at what makes a society to be in crisis or not to be in crisis, what makes a nation to be a failed nation or a stable nation, you have to look at the citizenry feeling competent and comfortable that there's a rule of law. Do Nigerians feel there's a rule of law? Is Nigeria a country of law or a country of men? In the sense I'm talking about, do we have leaders who has laws that can implement laws in the country that we can follow? And if you don't follow those laws, what are the punishment for those laws? Can I ask you, can a corporal police officer arrest a senator who has breached the law in this country? Oh no, because his colleagues that serve the senator may have to beat him up because he's trying to stop their oga at the top from doing his job. Now, you have to look at the issue of being able to deliver services and goods to your citizens at the appropriate time, at a cost-effective manner. Can Nigeria do that? Because a lot of people, you have to be a leader in Nigeria to look after all your citizens, despite their religious or moral or ethical background or ethnic background. But Nigeria is not doing that. So if you look at all these elements, you can say there is issue that Nigeria has been in crisis. If we say Nigeria is now in crisis, I think it's a bit political. They're trying to relate that to the current government. But we can say a country that's got no borders, Our borders are porous. From Adamawa, you can jump into Cameroon. From Brunei, you can jump into Chad. That means the police and the army men cannot even do their job. That is economic security. That is labor security. You talk about unemployment in Nigeria. Many of the unemployed youth are not even Nigerians because we don't have a database of our nationalities in Nigeria. Even though the banks take our BVN, the FRSC take our biometrics for driver's license, the immigration take our biometrics for national passport, all of them take information. PVC cards are there. National ID has never been given to us. But still, the police officer or the army men cannot actually identify who is a Nigerian. So a criminal today can tomorrow come back and become a politician. They can jump over the fence and go to Chad and come back after 2 weeks. You don't know who they are. So how can you say a country is not in crisis, but it has been in crisis for decades?
I think Whiskey will find this quite interesting.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe we should indulge you a little bit.
Exactly. Yes.
I don't think you quite.
He's actually jumping at it.
I think he's jumping.
Yes, exactly.
So maybe the APC has no justification for screaming.
Yes, exactly. I'm very glad my very good friend here decided to expand the frontiers of
this discussion.
The discussion of crisis. But I want to indulge in that elaborate discourse of the issues involved because first, we must recognize that Nigeria is still an evolving democracy, a country of over 450 ethnic nationalities. And in our past 50 years, for the first time, we have managed a democratic rule consecutively for the first time for 16 years. A wonderful progress. And you cannot approximate what we are experiencing in terms of what is being practiced in advanced democracies. Talking about rule of law. Maybe during the military regime, we would say there was no rule of law. Particularly in the past 6 years of President Goodluck Jonathan, nobody can say this country has not respected the rule of law.
I think a lot of people agree with you there.
Nobody can say so.
Yeah.
Now, you talk about security and safety. Beyond the Boko Haram issue that has both political and economic dimensions, Nigeria has been a very safe place. Look at places like the UK. Look at places like America. Even in their bedroom, you don't feel safe. It's worse than what happens in Nigeria.
That's debatable.
Well, it's debatable. I agree with you, it's debatable. Because you can only exceptional cases in this country where you say armed robbers broke into somebody's house to kill him. Armed robbery.
Whiskey.
But I'm sorry, 1 minute.
Dr. Whiskey.
Yes, Obiara, 1 minute.
I would rather when you say some of the things you say, you back them with data and verifiable statistics. I mean, when you say that armed robbery and people getting killed in their bedrooms is something that, that's exceptional. I'm a little worried. And I'm wondering whether you live in Nigeria or just came back from the United States.
I'm not saying there are no armed robbery cases in this country. I'm talking about comparing the way people enter other people's bedroom and kill them in places like the UK, in America. You are walking on the street, somebody will pull a trigger, your life is off. Where is the security of life? In spite of their sophisticated security network. But here, yes, there is armed robbery. What I'm trying to say, in essence, is this. Don't create the impression that because of social miscreants, that for want of whatever purpose, they indulge in criminal activities. You say there is crisis in Nigeria. Nigeria is not exclusive. It's perhaps not even as critical as other countries in the Far East and even in the West. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Okay. We still have time, so you have time to say more of the things you want to say. But Nigeria is not in crisis. our naira used to exchange for about 150, 160, 165. Our naira is exchanging for 200 and above. Nigeria is not in crisis. And then, for the first time in this country, offices shut their doors at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The telecommunication companies found where to throw their blame for their ineffectiveness. And then schools were shut down. And Nigeria, I mean, where I live, in the last 4 days, I've not got electricity. Are we saying that this is normal? I'm asking you.
No, it's not normal at all. It's abnormal.
Because you said Nigeria has been in crisis.
That's right.
And Nigeria today is a continuation of the crisis. Is
right.
there nothing so different about where we are now and where we are maybe a year ago, 2 years ago?
I believe the politicians in Nigeria are becoming more advanced and skilled. In
which area?
I've seen situations where a certain politician, I'm not going to mention names, obviously for legal reasons. I've seen a situation where a certain politician has gone to the court to ask the court to give the police, to stop the police from arresting him. Okay, I don't know the society where you have to go to the court to prevent the agencies that uphold the law from them to stop doing their work. That's number one.
One even got a perpetual.
That's right.
Oh, but you say you have liberty to exercise your fundamental.
That's
human
right.
rights.
Obviously, as I said, I'm not going to mention names. But you understand, a country that has no laws, but they have big men. Obviously, recently we know about the so-called Nigerian who has been surrendered by NDLEA officers, and today he has gone to court to sue the NDLEA to court, and now the court is asking the NDLEA to come and defend themselves. That is a country of big men, not a country of laws. Now you know the situation in Nigeria by some people that have stolen pension money get scot-free for peanuts, and you see Nigerians that stole ordinary mobile phone are given 2 years in jail, 3 years in jail. You go to our prisons, almost 60% of prisoners in Nigeria are awaiting trial because they've got no money to employ some big named lawyers to defend them. Now, this issue of backlog in our prisons has been going on for decades. The issue that we don't have electricity in Nigeria has been going on for decades. Who is talking about it? Now you see banks giving an excuse they have to shut down. I tell you, I checked the profit and loss account of one of these banks yesterday, and they've made so much profit that they can buy enough diesel to keep their doors open till 5 o'clock.
So is it sabotage? Can you smell sabotage in what has happened in the last few days?
I think it's for the banks. Obviously, I'm not going to mention names to ask themselves questions. You've got your P&L account out there. We've seen your profit in the last annual profit and loss account. We know your profit margin. We know you have enough to buy enough fuel to keep your doors open till 5 o'clock, but you don't want to do that.
Vince, I'll stop you there. We'll take another break. We'll go back to the ordinary Nigerians, and we are asking again, is Nigeria in crisis?
That's about 4 years ago. He promised that we'll have fresh air. And what, as an ordinary Nigerian, what that fresh air means that things will be better. But you can see that at the end of his administration now, Nigerians are crying. Every sector, nothing is working at all. You can see there's no light. Go to some government offices now, no light there. Go to residential areas, no light there. You can see the problem of fuel now. Since about two months now, no fuel, Nigerians are crying. So I don't see anything that Nigeria has benefited from this government.
It is it is okay, you know, as we advance into the year, from 1 year to the other, it gets worse. And thanks to the situation, it's a very sorry case.
They promised us fresh air. I never knew this fresh air would be something like disaster. I can no longer drive my car, no lights. Things are not going well. You can see, if you look at out, people are just crying. So the government is not favoring anybody.
Very good. He has done well. Based on the situation he found himself when he entered the office, and the improvement we have recorded in some areas of his achievement, I think he has done well. If I'm to rate him, I rate him 75%.
Fact, no different as such. Because with the look of things, you know, is corruption everywhere, and the outgoing president could not handle it.
Well, welcome back. You're still on the O&M Late Show. At this point in time, we want to join Chief Sam Nkire, who is a member of the APC Board of Trustees, to talk a little bit more about this situation of President Jonathan handing over a country in crisis to APC. Chief Nkire, welcome to the O&M Show.
Thank you very much.
Your party says that President Jonathan is handing over a country in crisis.
Yes.
A lot of people don't seem to buy that, statement from your party. Why do you think that we are now in crisis, or we have not been in crisis the last 10, 15 years?
Yes, if you remember the first time President Jonathan was elected as president of Nigeria in 2011, Nigerians voted for him, and his approval rating was quite high. You can see that he's not as popular, not even half as popular as he was when he came in, because all the campaign promises of the PDP, not up to 30%, was fulfilled. And practically you can see the state of insecurity, you can see the state of joblessness, you can see the state of despair in the faces of people. I don't want to talk about the state of our economy. You can see how hard it is for people to access petroleum products. All these things are crises. They are not just one crisis.
Okay, they are crises.
And it does not go well with a government that should be remembered, or that should reward people that overwhelmingly voted for it in 2011.
Yes, Chief Sam, two issues that I want to bring to your attention when you say that they are handing over government in crisis. Your party says that among the things that make up this crisis is the fact that civil servants have not been paid their salaries in several states, and the country currently has a debt of over $60 billion. Well, we also know that some of the states that have not paid salaries are actually APC-controlled states. And the loans that make up, some of the loans that make up the $60 billion that we owe as a nation are loans also taken up by the APC states. I don't know how you react to that. So you may have also contributed to this crisis which you are talking about.
Now, you see, in the last days of President Jonathan, APC government, state governments complained of inequalities, in sense that the monthly allocation was not funded in most of the APC states. Sometimes it will be funded below 50%, and then the PDP governments, the PDP states, the APC federal government, the PDP federal government will turn around to bail them out, give them loans, give them money from other sources such as the ecological fund and others, but the APC government were not given, especially a little before the election. So if APC government didn't pay salary, it is because it was also caused by PDP. But I can tell you, several states, especially in the southeast and several other places, even some federal government institutions were not paid. Anybody telling you that it was the APC state governments that were owing is not telling you the truth. You can see again that President Jonathan has gone on to make several appointments, bloating the salary wage bill for President Buhari to inherit. That was why I said he's preparing a bed of nails for the incoming administration. It's not right for a departing manager of a department to overload the department with new staff before leaving. Why didn't he employ them in the 5 years he had? You make more appointments. If people are not, states and the federal government is not able to pay salaries, or was not able to pay salaries when oil was selling at above $100. Today, oil is about $60 per barrel. Salaries are owed for 8 months, and you are making new appointments and giving out letters. That is the bad test.
Okay.
I think it's regrettable that a man who came into power with so much expectation is leaving the country as though the country didn't receive him well. He's leaving the country in crisis. There is no fuel, there is no power, there is no job, there is no housing, there is no good roads.
Thank you, sir.
I pray that he will be remembered well in Nigerian history.
Okay, Chief Sam, thank you so much for joining us on the O&M show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, whiskey.
Yes, I think we'll give...
yes. Well, you've been waiting for this APC intervention. Now you've had it. You agree with him? You agree with him?
How can I agree with falsehood? It's clear falsehood. Nigerians, the ordinary Nigerians know that the Jonathan administration, and indeed PDP, over the years, have stabilized Nigeria. Now, let's take it from when the PDP government started. The PDP government took over in 1999 with an economy that recorded over 18% inflation rate. Over 18%. Today, we have inflation rate at 8.2%. Single digit. Since Jonathan became president, for almost 3 years running, this country has maintained single-digit inflation. Number two, from 2.9% GDP growth in 1999, as at 2014, Nigeria recorded 6.2% GDP growth rate. And we have recorded over 5% GDP growth rate for consecutively 3 years, with the last 2014 GDP growth rate measuring 6.2%. These are very clear indices global economic institutions also record. It's not a make-up story. As a matter of fact, I have to go through an IMF authored article to extract this. Not even basing on what the Minister of Finance have always been feeding Nigerians.
Okay, Whiskey, we don't have time. Let me just ask you this question.
Yes.
Some people are saying that this change that APC is promising is so much of change. But they're not sure whether this change will, do the magic that Nigerians are waiting for.
Yes.
Do you?
No, I subscribe to that view very seriously. Because
I thought you were going to disagree.
No, even before they come into government, they started complaining. Now, sorry, before I go into that, let me say this. The Chief Sam man said there is fuel crisis everywhere. Nigerians know that from 2012 till only recently, there was fuel everywhere. It is only under the regime of Jonathan, Nigerians never suffered for fuel. And that is why I premise the current fuel crisis on the doorsteps of greedy marketers. I can never shy away in saying that. Now, coming back to your question, it's very surprising that APC, in wanting to take over power, promised Nigerians they are going to make exchange rate 1 naira to $1. They promised Nigerians they will reduce fuel from 87 naira to 40 naira. They promised Nigerians that they are going to pay people, unemployed people, 5,000 naira pocket allowance every month. And these promises were made even at a time they knew. At a time APC people knew that the price for a barrel of crude at the international market plummeted from over $100.
But they've not reneged. They've not reneged yet.
No, sorry.
They've not reneged.
No, I'm coming. They are already complaining.
Or are you saying they are laying the ground
for
possible failure?
They are laying ground because they are already complaining that nobody should expect magic from the administration.
Whiskey, let's have the last word.
I think
what should we do?
What we should do is that the incoming government of General Muhammadu Buhari should be thinking of nominating capable hands that can take Nigeria and manage Nigeria for Nigerians. He should be looking for eggheads, not just politicians, that understand the sector he's given the responsibility to manage, not because this person is from my group or my brother or my sister, but should be looking for competent Nigerians that can manage ministries. And he must have a checklist system, like in project management, we say have a checklist system that every 4 months you must have a performance management system to check the achievement of that sector.
Yeah, we must go now.
we must go.
All right. Well, this is where we're going to draw the curtain. We're really out of time. We want to thank you all for staying up late as usual to watch us, and also to thank AYAKEME Whiskey and Vince ONYEKWELU with us in the studios, and Chief Sam Nkere, who joined us by telephone all the way from the ancient city of Kano. My name is Mahmoud Akuga. Thank you so much for being with us.
You just forgot something, Mahmoud.
I didn't forget. I was waiting for you to sign off. We will present Vince with our mug, and of course we'll give a handshake to Whiskey, who's been here before. So he's not getting a mug tonight.
Good night. Thanks for watching.
Like play, I just did the chilo. Next to me, oh, na me and my diesel. We just the sipo, plenty more. I see this girl, fronting like a